Welcome to the June meeting for the Memphis Astronomical Society Astrophotography Group. We got some cool stuff going on tonight. We'll always start with questions from people who have been having issues, and we got a lot of experts here in the group. So is anybody got anything that they'd like to have answered before we get started with the main topics? Particularly newbies. I wrote a personalized email to all of the people that joined in the last few months. Hopefully they join us tonight. Okay. Anything new members that you want to talk about? I think we are going to move right on. Okay, Alberto, can you here's what, let's give a background. A month and a half ago or so, Brian Hancock approached me and saying, hey, we got this gentleman who has a business in Chile and would like to have some help getting his new telescope rig started up and fine-tuned and aligned and take some images, because I suspect that's going to be a big feature of your business as you continue to grow. So he and I have been communicating for the last month and a half about kind of say, what do you need? And I thought it'd be really great for our group to learn what the needs are, what kind of equipment he has, and the flexibility we have to play with it and take targets in the southern hemisphere, and which we don't have access to. So having said that, Alberto, how about you tell us a little bit about you and what you're doing and your business down there, and then we can get into the specifics. And I'm going to stop sharing. You not share a screen, Alberto, I assume?
Thank you for the invitation. So as Mario say, I was contacted with him for the last month. So I study astronomy, in the past, and then I ended up here in Chile, in San Pedro de Atacama, where I started working in the stargazing tour. So we receive people usually almost every night. And now aside from just this poor stargazing tour, so the idea is to leave a telescope fixed here in the deserts, and we can control remotely from wherever we are. So started this a couple of months ago, but I still have some trouble with not with the setup, but using the usability. So that's also the reason why I asked Meryl if you join as a group can help with that. So the idea is to try to test it. So to enter the telescope. So it's in a pier. Yeah, the telescope is refractor. So an Explore Scientific. So it's a apochromatic triplet. So 102 millimeters. So and it's mounted on a ioptron. So 28, which support up to 28 ounces, right? So well, together it's already set up. Yeah, there's a PC, a mini PC. So there's also a guiding scope connected to it. And well, it's located in an observatory. So the guy hosted more or less 12 telescopes connected with Starlink. Yeah, so you can have Starlink on that end. And so it's not exactly where I am, so it's more south, kind of 10 hours driving more south. So usually this time of the year can be a little bit cloudy, but usually when it comes more to spring, summer, it's much better weather there than where I am. Yeah, so now it's set up that, for example, I can enter it. So the telescope, and there are some software installed, like well, it's also Nina installed. If you have more practice with the software, you should just use the normal software that comes with ZWO. And yeah, it's also smart, I was saying. So usually with this telescope, where you can find more objects which are located in the southern hemisphere. So some objects that you're not very used, or actually they're not really accessible from your latitudes. And well, I think usually we're talking about so we can come to some good weather conditions. So when it's not cloudy, 1 or less than 1 arc second, I think.
Wow.
I don't know if you want, but I was trying to take some picture. I took in this map, so I don't know if you want, I
That
can
would be
show you.
great. And we see it.
Just one single picture, yeah. So they're not really processed and nothing else.
That's okay. We'll take what we
Um, can can I where can I share?
Sure.
Or
Yeah.
yeah, let me check. How can I do it? Ah, yeah, here, please. Just
Bottom center.
yeah, yeah, big green button. Where do my pictures? Let me check 1 second. Example video. Well, I will share this. Just trying also to put kind of presentation, but I will share this free picture here. I have share.
About like me, I can't do it either. There we go.
Yeah. So it's just free picture, just a single picture. So I took more, but it's just a single picture, more or less 60 seconds. Yeah. So there are the Tarantula Nebula, the top one in the Large Magellan Cloud, and then below we have the Carina Nebula and also the Centaurus A galaxy. It's more than
And then these are 60-second images. Is that what you said?
60 seconds. Yeah, 60. Just 1 minute.
Why? Don't shut down.
Okay.
What kind of camera do we have?
Yeah, so we come back actually. I put something before. Yeah. So right now I'm using the 183 from ZWO. Yeah, I also have another one, but I tried to switch it with the other one because I was thinking probably gets bigger images. I'm not sure.
And I take it's a roll-off roof type of observatory.
Yeah.
And when you'll give us control of that as well, I assume, because without the control, we're in trouble.
Yeah, what I try to do also with well some students of the university. So the idea is that also to well I can give you of course the main control, but also special control for other people. Finding a way how we can control it. Also not using well not, right now I'm using the remote desktop. Yeah, so we can access with the password and so on. So it's not a problem for the moment.
So are you using Microsoft Remote Desktop?
Yes. So usually there we can enter it through that, and we have access to a telescope through the mini PC, mini computer, which is installed, so which is attached together or connected together.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably some limitations to the the remote desktop from somebody who knows that don't you need the Windows 11 Pro to do that or something of that higher order Windows?
Any
Um,
pro version of Windows will work.
Do I now?
Any pro version of Windows, like Windows 10 Pro, Windows 11 Pro,
Okay.
Windows 8 Pro, and Windows 7 Pro.
Well, and yeah, as long as somebody, I think I have one of my computers, but one of the Brian got me on.
Well, for you to attach to it, for him to run, to be able to connect to it, his system has to be the pro version to run the remote desktop stuff. For you to connect to it, all you need is a client to connect to it, and you can connect to it from almost anything. I've even had my phone connect to one of mine.
Okay.
So you got to have
Yeah.
is the RDP program by way of either Microsoft version or from Android or from Apple, whatever. And as long as you get the settings in the right, the IP address, whatever, and
Okay.
user ID and password, they'll connect through.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, Brian got me hooked up with a new software called Jump. That's a really nice thing to control my telescope long distance as well. So, okay, so let's start off with questions from the group, and then we need to get like the protocol of how do we sign on? How do we open the roof, et cetera, et cetera? Questions, anybody? Hello?
What's so where is it physically located? What's the Bortle Sky where the setup is?
So located right now is was in close to a city called Copiapó.
Okay.
It's kind of it's still in the desert.
What
Yeah,
could you spell that?
Copia,
What's it?
Copiapó.
Yeah.
Uh,
I can't spell it for me. I'm slow.
CO
C-O-E-O.
Piapo.
Okay. I'll have to look that up.
It's 1 hour outside from that city. It's not touristic city, but usually there the sky, well, it's very far from light pollution for sure. For example, here, because we're in touristic city, sometimes we have some, could be, yeah, some, the town, not very far away. But about the, I would say the roof, yeah, this actually, the person in charge of the observatory is deciding if to open the roof, usually, if it's cloudy or not, that night. For example, tonight it's closed because well, the weather forecast was bad for the whole night. Sometimes if you see that this good night at the beginning of the night, so he left open and then he closed the observatory, the roof, when some clouds will start to come in.
So what I hear you saying, we don't need to do anything. I mean, somebody
No,
else.
yeah, he is opening at after sunset, and then he close up at early in the morning,
Okay.
so just before the sunrise. So if it's clear, it's open. If it's cloudy, it's closed.
You know the altitude of the observatory?
I think it's a little bit less than here. Should be 1,500 meters. Or
1,000
less.
meters?
Yeah, probably 1,300 meters.
Okay. And then I had one more question. I just missed it on the slide where you had listed the cameras. Are those monochromatic or color?
No, they are color.
Okay, thank you.
So I mean, I'm looking at where the city is in Copia, whatever it is. You're fairly close to the coast.
So Chile is a narrow country, so
Yeah.
so it's there's
But
not much space usually from the coast to the mountain. But usually it's Copiapó, it's kind of, well, on the main road, and then you go 1 hour to the mountain, to the Anden, and it's where it's located, the observatory.
Okay, so we have color cameras. We know what the mount is. We know what the scope is, the guide scope. What is the guide camera?
The guiding camera is it's a normal ZWO 120. Yeah, the mini 120.
Anybody have experience with that?
That's what I use.
Is it?
It's a normal.
That's what I use too.
Yeah, I got one.
normal.
It's a very common guide camera.
Yeah.
Okay, and we got Nina there. We can program it. The roll-off roof is going to happen automatically. Is there credentials we have to have for sign on to the telescope and the remote desktop that you're going to have to send me or send us? Okay.
Is it on the west side of the mountain peak or the east side?
It's on the west side. I tried to put the map, the city name in the map, and
Right, I see the city, but he said it's an hour into the mountain, so I'm just curious if it's
oh, you're right. You did say that. Okay.
So the mountains are, of course, on the east side. I think you lose something, of course, towards north. So it's where you have the kind of, I think it's a line north-south, the observatory. So usually when you close the roof, we have where you lose a little bit is towards north, but usually we don't have a lot of observation in that direction. because all the objects are very low. But the mountains, they are not very, very high, for what I remember on the east side. So at some point the object will rise. Yeah, so they're not too high.
Well, what do you need from us if we're going to set up this partnership? I'm interested. I'd love to have remote access to a telescope like this.
Yeah, I can give access to the telescope in these months because I'm pretty sure I don't have much time, a lot of time to test it. So the idea that you can test it, meaning using try and take some picture if you see some, I don't know, some problems. I have some problem with I lose sometimes the alignment. So yeah, also you know how to adjust it. For example, and just taking picture if the setup is correct, and some things like that.
So how long do we have? I mean, time-wise, a month, 2 months, 3 months? When do you want us to be done?
So the telescope is there. So right now, I think in July or September, probably I will not have much time. So you can use in this month. So as soon I still have some things to do, like improving this access to the telescope, also for other people. And well, at some point, the idea is also to using for other project as kind of renting. But I don't think it's something very close. So in the future, so you can use it, for the next month. At some point, I will see how the progress is with the telescope, with the software, so the accessibility, and then well, let's see later. So, but right now, so I think also until the end of the year, I don't think there will be any problem, so you can use it without any problem, without any issues.
Okay, if I understood, we could basically use it between now and end of December.
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
so
So I think what we may want to do is get the credentials and sign on. Then we're gonna have to fight over it. Who gets to play with it? So, because yeah, I think there's a lot of interest and I know me personally, and I'm sure there's a lot of other folks here that would love to do it. You know, we may want to like do our July meeting, just take a target but of course July's going to be dark late. I mean, what time is Astro dark there? Probably about the same as it is here, 9 o'clock, 9:15.
They're southern,
but
it should be even cheaper.
Here
earlier.
is winter. So here, I think he opened. Yeah, these days, I think he told me he was opening the roof like at 5:30.
Oh, really?
So
I guess you are winter, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, think of our
7
winter time. Think of our winter time when you do stuff.
So 7 p.m. is dark for sure.
Oh, that's good. Excellent. Excellent.
You have to think that we are 1 hour in advance. So for you it's 6. Yeah, if it's 7.
How
we are
many
1 hour.
kilometers? How many kilometers are you from the city?
We drove more or less 1 hour, so I'm guessing 30, 40, 30 kilometers, because the road is kind of complicated to access it. It takes some time. Yeah. Probably 40 kilometers, I'm guessing.
Looking at a Bortle map, I would guess we're around Bortle 2 to Bortle 3, which are pretty nice skies.
Oh yeah.
I'm surprised it's that high. Just
I'm surprised as well.
It just depends. Like if we drive due west, I'm sorry, due east, we might get to level 1. It just depends how far it is.
Yeah, in that region, usually it should be better than here because we are Bortle 2, and I think in that region close to the observatory can reach also Bortle 1.
Wow.
Because it's much more darker than here. Of course, if you go, but
we
don't see the light from the main city from there, and there's
nice.
no other light.
So it's probably between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Well, that
Got a few equipment questions. Is there an autofocuser attached to it?
Yeah, there is an autofocuser.
Okay. And then I guess what do we think would be the process to get like calibration frames, darks and flats and things like that?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we don't have
If it's
probably the possibility
is-
for the flats.
Yeah,
Is the
flat's
guy
gonna be the
physically
hard part.
there? Is the guy physically there who opens the
So,
top?
so not very often.
Okay.
So it depends. Yeah, he says sometimes he goes because you have to help with some other equipment have some problems. So we should ask him when he's there, so we can take some probably calibration. But
Right.
the flats, well, we could try probably. No, I'm not sure. If we can have some idea how to take them when probably the roof is closed.
Well, if he gets the roof open early enough, we can take some sky flats.
Twilight.
Yeah.
Do the cameras have shutters?
No.
No,
Those cameras don't? Okay, well,
No.
that's
No,
makes it tough for
no.
darks then.
Well, yeah, and there's no filter wheel, correct?
No.
Okay, if we had a filter wheel, we could put a blocker on there and take darks.
This.
So somebody's gonna have to put a lens cap on it at some point,
Yeah.
and we're gonna have to take quite a few create a dark library.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is this a cooled camera?
The photo's
yes.
cool.
Yeah. The 183 and the
Okay.
94 MC Pros are both cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so once you get your database built and run to that temp, you should be okay. At least for a while. Sorry, my internet's being very dodgy tonight.
I think the internet engineer's dodgy because Ted's upside down.
If it's dark enough in that building, we can take darks.
Well,
Yeah, maybe.
But I'm looking at the picture and I see light coming through the sides. So we would have to do it on a dark night when the dome is closed or the roof is shut.
Yep.
Absolutely.
But, or we could schedule a one-time deal. We can collect our darks and flats all one time, put in libraries and.
yeah, as long as I think if we were able to get just a single round of flats, then we could probably reuse those for a good bit, assuming things didn't get too crazy in between shoots. And I guess there's no rotator, so we're gonna keep the camera on the same angle the whole time. Is that the plan?
I think so. You don't have a rotator.
There's no rotator.
Yeah.
No, there's.
Yeah, we had to make the library once. I mean, mine I keep for months and months and months and months.
I don't even use my dark library.
Okay, guys, more questions?
Not a question, but like you said, process wise, we'll probably all be fighting over access. So, but it'll probably need some people to kind of run a schedule and some
Yes.
kind of request process and
Submit a list.
something along. So we don't step on each other's toes.
I think the first time we should just do it as a group. I mean,
Yes.
those who are really interested, get somebody to run it and we'll all zoom in and see what it's like.
Well, yeah, I think if we get all the data, all the equipment and all the sign-on stuff, there's a group of us, all of us, then we can develop a procedure to do that. And then as time permits, you guys take off with it.
But I like the idea of a special session. Let's all just kind of hop on and
Yep.
kind of explore together.
Yep.
Make sure we can figure it out.
So Alberto, do you have any favorite targets you want us to take?
No, I mean it's up to you.
Okay.
Alberto likes tarantula. Look at
So-
look at the previous slide.
Me too. For 60 seconds, I like it too.
Yeah, I like that
Yeah.
one too.
It's
That's my
looking, it's
favorite.
looking good.
No. The idea is to do it a longer section, but I still haven't learned also the PhD as your guiding. And so,
Alberto, is there like a webcam so we're able to see what's going on in the observatory, like in real
yeah,
time?
there are three webcams. So one now, just one pointing at kind of, you can see the telescope where it's moving.
Can you show that to us now? I mean, is that something we can access?
Yeah, I can try to show you how. For example, I can connect to the telescope, but I don't know if it will appear. Let me see how to share.
I think you gotta stop sharing first and then,
Yeah, my old computer. Let's see. Share. Let's see if we share. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This should be the remote control. Let's see. I don't know. Do you see it?
yep, I see the mini PC.
Yeah. You see that I enter or not?
Okay.
Mm.
You changed screens, but it's so small, I can't tell.
Yeah, probably. Well, also the really also slower, the connection board.
Oh, cool. Can you expand that by chance? Like, make it larger for the whole screen?
Yeah, yeah, my telescope actually now is changed the view at the angle probably. It's just one on the left.
But
If
can
you see
you
over,
make, can you make it bigger, the picture bigger?
I don't know.
It's only showing us a small window
Yeah,
of the remote desktop.
yeah. No, it would be hard. Because I put that full screen before, so no, but what to say? Yeah, it's also I think the possibility to share the camera view with others.
You need to get your RDP session set to full screen instead of like a little window thing. What are the three little dots there underneath to the right side of the mini PC name?
You mean now where I am, or
Because it looks like we got
for-
your application window that shows you the RDP session, which underneath that there's a bar that's got mini PC telescopio, and to the right of that there's three little dots. And so what do those show? I don't know if you see it or not. That's what we're seeing.
so yeah, for to see the camera, I don't know. Well, you can share with other email addresses. I don't know if the owner of the observatory has to just approve it, or we can just share with more people. Yeah,
Well-
but it's just made one camera that is show you that if the roof is open or not. And the other one you can see anyway from inside. And it just now he moved the angle, so you just see barely my telescope, but you can see where it moves more or less, in which direction. If it moves correctly, because sometimes you see immediately that it moves in a completely different direction.
Okay.
So
Any additional questions? That's where, okay.
How is the internet speed for getting data off of the mini PC?
I think I tried a couple of times. I think it's kind of slow. And also the day is always and I tried very much during the day. But the idea, I think, but he wants that also we just do all this work during the day so that we don't slow the connection during the night. I just tried once, copy and paste directly. I don't know if it was the best way. It took a little, so I don't know how slow it was. But I tried the time to copy the old folder, so it took some minutes.
Well, do you have plenty of storage on your computer there? That we could take the images at night and transfer them in the morning?
Yeah, well, I think there is space. So its mini PC was. I have to check the storage.
If you look at my background, you'll see this is what we're seeing for your telescope.
Yeah, that was
And
smaller.
is there a way to make that bigger? In other words,
Mm,
how do you get something to where it's full screen?
Well, I was looking at, I'm wondering, Meryl, if it's maybe worth looking at like stacking the results on that PC, so we're only pulling off maybe the stacked files if it does become too difficult to get all the actual subs off.
No, that's a good idea. But if we have all day long, I mean, you
Yeah.
transfer a lot of data.
These file sizes won't be killer. I don't think there'll be any problem getting this data.
Okay.
Well, we can figure out the camera, but it's nice to be able to see what you've done as well.
Alberto, I kind of missed what you said at the beginning. Is this a private observatory or does it belong to a school or government or something like that?
No, it's a private observatory.
Okay.
It's his.
No, it's not mine yet.
I thought it was part of your business.
No, the point that I want to do it as well here in San Pedro, the Atacama, but it's a little more tricky with the land and so on.
Mhm.
So then there was another guy in Copiapó that he was more advanced to constructing building the observatory. So I started at the beginning of this year. So I told him I brought my telescope to him for now, and then I will find the space also where I live. So we'll try to do something similar. And so there I will have be more in touch, more closer to the telescope, also to solve this problem with the calibration and so on. So for now, I'm renting also the space to this other guy.
Any last questions, folks?
One more question. I'm looking at the map here and I see something called Observatorio Orion, just a little bit northeast of Chulo.
Yeah. I
Is it
think,
near?
well, I heard of it. I don't know. It's still private. So I don't know. Well, it should be private. So I remember that it was under construction some years ago, but it's more in that region, so they don't have a lot of tourists. So I don't know if they do stargazing tour every night or they use more for schools and education. Because a little more north, there is another one, which is called Inca de Oro, and it is more from the city. Orion was a kind of new one. That
Okay, I
was
was wondering if this observatory where your telescope is near the Observatorio Orion.
No, I don't think so, because when I went close, actually, I think once I went, but there was a construction site of Orion, and it was in a different direction. So usually from Copiapó, we're going north, and the telescope, so the observatory where there is a telescope, usually go more kind of southeast, or more east, actually. So there's still some distance. So it's not the same one.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, more? Anything else? Okay, well, Alberto, once you once you summarize all the things we need to do to get signed on, to try it out, email that to me. I'll gather this group here and we'll wrestle through how we're gonna approach it. And we'll do it fairly quickly, I suspect. This to me is really interesting. That makes sense?
Yeah, so it's okay.
Is there some, just for dumb question, can I or John or somebody right now could try to sign on to that just for practice?
I certainly can if I have
Yeah,
the
but
information to do it. So
Brent's a Microsoft engineer, so he should be able to do it.
put me on the spot there.
No stress, no stress.
The really smart engineers don't even know how to turn on a computer.
So well, we can try it. So let's see if the password is correct. Because sometimes when I try with my phone, I have some problems right now, but before I could do it. But I can give you the IP if you want.
Meryl, we're not going to want this password on the
No, you're right. That's
on the video.
just a good point. Just send it to me and we'll practice. And I get your email address. We can. Do I put your phone number on? Can we text you if we want some instantaneous communication?
Yeah, sure. It's
Well, just
faster.
once you summarize everything, you've got my contact information, and we'll figure it out and call you if we need help.
Yeah, so I will send you all the information, and also you can tell me if you are able to connect first.
Okay.
Yeah, and then yeah. So also we'll tell you also the nights, for example, are cloudy or not. Yeah, but also we'll try to share the information of the camera webcams so they can see directly if the roof is closed or not. But I'm guessing that right now, usually 6 p.m., 6:30 p.m. Chilean time. So we could see if the observatory is open or not.
If you could also send us like the GPS coordinates, then we can check the weather.
Yeah, that's exactly.
So, we can tell if it's cloudy or not, if we know the exact location.
Yeah.
Trying to zoom in on Astropheric right now as you speak.
For example, today it was sunny in Copiapó, but it's cloudy at the observatory. It told me that starting tomorrow should be better. Yeah, we'll send you all the information. So tomorrow per email.
Yep.
So today, tomorrow, probably.
Excellent.
Well, at least the map, Astropheric map goes to the location. Okay, great. Any last questions before we let Alberto go? You're welcome to stay if you want, just for your entertainment, but okay. Why don't what we have next? I saw some of the
Thank you, Alberto.
Yes, you did great. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
We're gonna do you
Thank
good.
you.
I saw some of the new folks have joined us too, and I'll go back to in case you missed some of the opportunity. Is there any questions you have as new folks that we can help you with before we go on to the next presentation? I see Lee and Jackie and nope. Feel free to speak up or not. Okay.
You guys are way over my head, but I'm enjoying listening.
Well, just I mean, you're beginning the journey.
Yeah, today's my first day.
Yeah, I bet. From your space station in the background. Okay, well, one of the questions I get, since I'm the kind of the first contact to the new members, I get asked many questions. Well, what do I need to buy to start out with? And I said, I have no idea what's the right thing for you to start out with. But there is one thing that is an alternate path that several of our members have taken that is different than the normal or traditional path of what you saw there, telescope, cameras, etc. And Ted and John and Mylan have got some examples of that, and they've agreed to kind of share what they've what they're doing, why they chose it, what the capabilities are. So it's an alternative to get started in the astrophotography and okay, which one, John? Are you the spokesperson, first one, or how are you going to do the tag team it? You better turn your microphone. There you go, microphone. Nope, you got to unmute your microphone. There you go.
Yeah, Ted had the video on first. Let him go.
Okay, Ted, that's okay. Ted.
Okay, yeah, I've got my C-Star set up back here in the room. I first heard about this probably middle of last year, and I thought it was a great idea, and I thought I would just go ahead and get one because at that time, High Point Scientific was offering a 20% discount for pre-orders, and I thought, if I'm going to try this, that's the best way to do it. And at that time, it was $400, and it's now $500. But and I am totally blown away with this thing for what it is and how small and portable it is and how easy it is to use. It's every time I do any kind of imaging, I'm just really blown away with it. So I've had it for 205 days. So that's as far as I've gone with it so far. I do have some images I can share. Other than that,
why don't you tell us how you originally got started? What path were you going originally?
Oh God, a long time ago, like 20 or 30 years ago, when I was living in South Carolina, I picked up a Newtonian from Meade, and I got taken in there, and then I moved away from South Carolina a while ago, and then for the longest time, it just sat in the closet collecting dust. And I tried setting it up out here, and I thought there's got to be something easier and better by now. So that's when I started my search for something new and different. And imaging is a way to record what you've seen and to show others. So, and granted, the C-Star isn't. You're going to get great images out of it. You're going to get decent images out of it, and you get that instant gratification, and that's really important for me as well.
Okay, if I'm not mistaken, you bought a telescope from Rick.
Yeah, I did. I bought the Meade LX, not LX.
LX200.
Yeah, there it is. LX200, 10-inch, and it's a bear to set up. I know. God, I can't remember his name right now. Mark, he's got a 12-inch, but my God, I helped him with that a couple of times. This 10 inches is a beast to set up on my own. So, but I'm learning how to use it. So, and visual observing is also very gratifying for me when we get the clear skies. So, and that takes a lot more setup.
The backstory on that is that was my first telescope.
Yeah,
specifically that one. And when I got connected up to Rick numbers of years ago, I had moved away from it, and I said, Rick, does MAS want this telescope? And he said, sure. So he came out and picked it up, and somehow Ted got it from there. It is, I mean, it's not the entry level telescope I would recommend now that I've done it. There's many frustrating nights. So, all right, so that's the backstory.
Okay. Next.
Next.
I can share images if you like.
By taking what's the focal length of that little telescope?
Excuse me?
What's the focal length of that little telescope?
250 millimeters.
250, okay.
Mm-hmm. And aperture is 50 millimeters. Let's see if I can figure out how to do this. Share. Then I got to go to my directories, I guess.
So I'm reading
Would it
that
be-
it weighs 6.6 pounds. Is that true?
It's actually a little bit lighter than that.
Excellent.
Yeah. And it comes in this little carrying case. And it's a foam carrying case, and it's very built right for the unit. So it's, I don't know if you saw that or not. Let's see, let's get to here and share. Okay, I took a picture of this comet just last week, and it's only a 29-minute image. So let's see if I can do another one here. Stop share.
Now, is it doing like the live stacking to generate the
Yeah.
image? You're not having to process anything, or
No, the image that you get on your tablet or whatever you're using to control it is it's stacking as it's going, but you can also save all the images and adjust them to your liking in post processing. I haven't done any of that yet because it's so daunting for me.
How long were those exposures of that comet image you just showed?
My comet image was 29 minutes worth of exposures. It takes 10-minute or 10-second exposures.
Okay, so
and
they were
it's
10 seconds because I noticed the tracking looked a lot better than my dwarf telescope at
okay.
10 seconds.
That may also have something to do with the pre-processing imaging. You can there's a little icon on there you can press, and you can adjust color and sharpness and or maybe not sharpness but contrast. And that's what I do. All I do is I turn the contrast down to about minus 23 to 25 or so, and then and it darkens the background and makes the images pop a little better. Where am I here? I'm gonna share another image somehow. There it is.
when you set those up, so because they auto point, kind of do everything for you, right? Because whereas we
Yeah.
have to do some pretty intense polar alignment, that
Yeah.
kind of does all the magic for you, right?
Before I do anything, what I do is I always calibrate the compass that's on it. Because, you just pick up a unit and turn it around a couple of times, and it tells you when it's calibrated. And I also bought a little. Can you still see my image on there or not?
You're not sharing.
Okay, I mean not the image, but the background. You can see the telescope
Yeah.
in the back.
Yeah, we can
Okay.
see it.
Get a little bit closer. This little dude down here, between the scope and the mount, is a fine leveling device, a 3-point leveler, and you can dial that into within, down to 0 degrees deviation. So it's pretty helpful. Camera screen. What do I want to do here? Where is it?
Yeah, some of the other robotic scopes don't have that capability, so that's really nice.
Yeah, it's great. And because, trying to level it with just adjusting the length of the legs is a real bear. I got.
Those are an add-on, aren't they? Because mine didn't come with those.
No, that is an add-on. It was like $30 or $35 at Amazon.
Okay.
I guess everyone wants to see Orion because that's the most famous thing. Well, here's a good little one that I got. So that was, and I don't remember
Leo
what
tree.
yeah, that was 40 minutes of imaging.
And are they 10-second exposures again?
10-second exposure. And it also it will not delete, but reject. It will reject things. You can see a satellite or a star streak in there, whatever that is. But generally, it will reject most of your bad images.
Yes, I was fighting some of those last night.
Yeah.
Can you configure that 10 seconds, or is that 10 seconds like
They
hard
have
coded?
they have made it adjustable now, so you can go 10, 20, or 30 seconds. But I'm finding 10 seconds is optimal.
Yep.
Let's get back here. Stop sharing. And it comes it comes with the solar filter as well. And let me get one more photo up there because I went up to Poplar Bluff in Missouri to get Gonna find my images of it because I got someone else's images too. Those are them up here. This one. Nope, that's not mine.
It's nice.
Come on. Where'd it go? Okay. No, that's not mine either. I thought I saved it, but maybe I didn't. Oh well. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm about every other day when the sky's clear enough, I'm trying to image the area of where that TCRB, the
Yeah.
Corona Borealis thing that's going to happen. So I'm hoping to catch that.
Good luck. I hope so too.
Well, everyone likes Orion, so there's Orion.
Mhm.
I mean, it just amazes me what this little thing can do, and well worth it. Well worth $500, and it takes 15 minutes to set up, and you're off. And then you can go inside and have a cup of coffee while it's doing its work.
What do you think the range of the Wi-Fi is?
It's not as far as they say. I think it's 20 to 30 feet tops. That's been my experience with it anyway.
Can you plug Ethernet into it?
Yes. I haven't done it, but you can, I forget what they call it, but you can wire it to your home internet
Yeah,
and the range will be extended.
yeah. So if you get a long wire, you can do your whole backyard.
Well, if your router reaches that far, you can do it that way. If your Wi-Fi is that far, you can hook it up to your home Wi-Fi.
Mhm.
What else does it do? I don't know why, but they put a terrestrial camera capability in it as well. Supposedly, you can draw a square around an object, and it'll track that. But
Yeah, I've used it to track wildlife. My Dwarf 2 does the same thing, and you can track birds or fox or whatever.
will it actually track birds in the air?
No, that's a little too fast, but like a critter walking on the ground, you can do that.
Okay.
Darn, I was hoping it was track the ISS.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would do that or not. It's pretty cool.
Well, Ted, what I liked about this technology is, like, I was at Astroflats the other night trying to help a gentleman out with a next star. And you have
Okay.
to do all these star alignments, and then you got to, and they don't even work half the time, where when it goes to an object, it's not in view. What this does is it plate solves and it goes into view.
It does.
So it is the ultimate, this technology, and there's a lot of competitors out there. It's
Yeah,
the
if you want,
ultimate beginner telescope, I think.
if you want an image, an object that isn't in its catalog, it has a sky atlas in it where you can guide the camera that way and take it to, if you know where you're going, take it to a specific area in the sky and tell it to go there, and it goes there. And right now like I said, I'm trying to do the TCRB thing, and there's nothing around it. The closest thing I could find to it was IC 4587. And if I center that in the image, TCRB should show up with some, further imaging, especially when it blows up. Is that it? Who's next?
Either John or Mylan.
I've talked a lot more than I thought I would.
Well, John also has a C star. I don't. I have a dwarf, so maybe he should go next. You're
I think you need
Microphone. Turn on your microphone.
Okay. Let me get my share. Get my share set up here if I remember how to do that. Screen one. And share. Okay. I think I'm doing this right. I make
Looking good.
all right.
I think you're missing a few icons.
Okay. Let me see. All right, I took this thing to over in Arkansas when we did the eclipse. Can y'all see that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And what was really cool about this is that I had a scout standing there and said, "What are you looking at?" And I had my iPad. And so I thought, here's what I'm looking at. And this was so cool because I could show him exactly what I was looking at. And so if you want to do a show and tell, this is one of the best things that you could do. And this Sea Star is one of the coolest things I've ever come across. It's quick and dirty. It doesn't do, the absolute, it's not the absolute best quality, but if you're going to the beach, if you're going camping, if you're just going to go see some relatives, throw it in the car and take it with you. I didn't know you could have such things like this. I've got an ASCAR with a 26 with a ASI 2600 on there, getting that thing set up. I get a kick out of working with that thing, but it takes a while to get it set up and get frustrated trying to get the thing calibrated. But this thing, let me pull up here. Where is my? Oh, come on. There we go. Show you one of these. I've got a okay, let me slide this thing along. Okay. You have an app that you put on your iPhone, turn your Sea Star on. You go up here, you click on connect, and then it's connecting. You go down here and you click and it says it's connecting. And it uses Bluetooth, and then I'm not sure what it does, but it winds up getting connected, and then it'll sit here and it'll cook for a little bit. And it'll say, "Hey, congratulations, you got it." This particular one, I decided I was going to do the moon. So you go to moon mode and you just let it go. Your kids can do this. You buy this for a kid and he is that's interested in astronomy. It's going to be a little expensive gift, but I tell you what, it will just thrill their hearts.
Now, Ted showed it, doing the leveling piece when it's finding them. Like, are you generally pointing it north or in any direction, or is it just kind of spinning and finding stuff?
I just set it out there and turn that joker on. Now, as far as the Wi-Fi and all that, I put it out on we've got a gas fire pit. I put it on top of that. It's got a cover on it. Turned it on. I go in the house. I sat at the coffee table. I turn it on. I think it had a little trouble finding the moon, I think. But I go in the house and operate it from in there. If it's cold, if it's hot, here we go. Yeah, it goes in, it finds the moon. Sometimes it has a little trouble with it. And then you say, okay, I'm there. And you've got your magnifications. You got your autofocus down here. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Focus is great. You get a full frame, then you go up to 2 times, focus it. It's just, of course, you can always do better with, I've got Celestron 8 SCT, but, it's a great party tool. You get them people out there and you say, "Hey, you want to look at the moon?" It locked up at this point. That's the only time I have ever had anything happen to it. But it locked up on me. Let's see, what else have I got here? go out here. The sun. I went out here yesterday and did a little recording of that. And you put your filter on, it stops you, and it lets you put the filter on it, and you put it out there, and then goes looking for the sun. Let's see, I'll speed it up a little bit here, and then finds it, sets itself up. Once again, you find your sunspots, and then you've got a little thing here. See this little circle? You put your finger on it, and when you do, you get some little pointers, and you can move it around. And if you note, you can say I want it to move fast or slow. And you got to be kind of careful with it because you can totally lose everything. But tell it where you want it to go. And when you snap pictures on here, it goes on your iPhone. I forgot to tell you, when I did the sun over during the eclipse, I used a time lapse. I don't know what else you might want to use it for, but for that, it was great. I could go in there and pull shots off of that using screenshots. But if you want a quick fix, or if you want to do any scouting, I mean, if you want to go out and take a look at an object and see, is this worth setting up for, getting your ASCAR out, getting whatever you're taking your pictures with, this is great. Let's see. I've got the what is it? M3 is a good one here, just to show you what it does. I think, is this one I need to, yeah, I think this is one I need to jump ahead on. Yeah. You go in here, you can click on this, and does a current best. You get a listing. You click on it, go to object. I think this one had a little trouble. Here we go. You click on it, it goes out there. It's got a virtual sky map. Let's see. I'm going to M3 because that was a good bright one. Shows you what time of the night it is and how well you can see it. It goes to the virtual map. You have a red box around it, and then the blue box, which is actually your camera, will eventually show up, and it'll start checking itself, making sure it's where it's supposed to be, or where it thinks it is. A little bit. Once it's ready, it'll click on your button down here, and it will do some last minute configuring, checking. Oh, come on here. There we go. On mine, I just leave it set at 10 seconds. You can go on and set it for 20 seconds or longer, but once you do that, you start getting your stars start smearing. But once it starts going, I don't know why, but for some reason the first couple of shots here didn't turn out too well. But then there it is. I mean, it's not the best in the world, but I tried the autofocus, playing around with it, just trying to show some of the things it would do. I think I broke it at that point. I was punching too many buttons too fast for it. but that's just kind of give you an idea of some of the things it can do. Let's see. Pause it. Okay, right here. It'll chirp and make all kind of noises for you if you want it to, but I don't like that. It's got advanced features here. It's got its own anti-dew heater. You can put a image watermark on there. Let's see. I go into the advanced. No. Okay. I think that's all. Yeah, I had some pictures on here. Let's see what I've got.
Well, it reminds me of the ASI Air. A lot of the functionality looks like it's the same.
Yeah.
It is. It's the same company that makes it.
It's basically the
And-
same thing. Yeah.
Seems a lot like Evoscope and Stellina as well.
Yeah, and there's been almost monthly updates with the software and capabilities. There's rumor that it's going to be able to do mosaics pretty soon, but so far it's just a rumor.
Yeah, it seems to be a lot more easy to use than Stellina. I mean, you got more capability than what's built into the app for Stellina.
Yeah, that's
I will say-
Is Stellina targeted at the same audience?
Well, it's
Stellina's a lot more expensive.
I bought
It has a much longer focal length too.
and I bought it 3 or 4 years ago, and it's, I'm looking at this and say, wow, I should have waited. It's great. It's great for outreach, but it's heavy. It's 25 pounds. What's yours weigh, John?
what did we say, about 6, 7, if that
Same,
much?
same as Ted's.
Yeah, 6 pounds. I mean, it's the little carrying case.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh, it's just, yeah, you set it up. The only thing you got to do is make sure it's level, and it will let you know if it's not level. And I do go ahead and do a calibration as far as the spin it as you go in, you spin it around, and make sure that it syncs up so it knows which way it's pointing. The one thing it will not do is planetary. This is Saturn. This is the best one of Saturn I could get. And the way you do that is you go in and you set it up, and you set it up for video. And you go in and you mess around with the settings there until you can see the rings. And that's about the best you can do.
Well, none of these devices are good with planetary. I've noticed.
No,
No.
Stellina's not. I mean,
that's the carrying case, and that's the size of it. Then, of course, here's an Andromeda galaxy. The other thing is the shape of the chip. It's rectangular. Bugs me a little bit, but so what? So if you get good pictures, if you get decent pictures, that's not a big deal. Now, if you go on to the
Hey, John, is that rotatable for TVs? Like if you were broadcasting this to okay, there you go. Good.
I mean, but if you turn on the C-Star, you can attach. You can attach to it via Wi-Fi. I think no. I'm sorry. You can't. I'm thinking about the what we were just talking about.
Stellina?
No. Doggone, the computer. I'm
iPad.
sorry. I can't keep up with names and stuff anymore. Anyway, you can plug this in. You can plug this into your USB port, and you can offload the stacked photo or the stacked image, or you can go in and get each individual image and restack it if you want to. It's all there. Everything is there. You get the fit image, everything. So it doesn't throw them away. They're there. So if you want to go through and restack it, use your own software of your choice to redo it, you can do that. So you've got all kind of options with it. Let's see, what else have I got here? I just looked to see if I had any other pictures up here.
How much would this cost compared to Ted's? Say,
Sir?
how much was this one? How much you have to pay for this one?
Oh, this was I bought it while they were had that pre-ordered it. I think I paid like I want to say about $450, something like that.
Are yours and Ted's the same thing? I may have missed that.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
both C-stars, right? Ted?
Yes.
Oh,
And
okay.
John, you have a C-star there?
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is a C-Star. Yes.
Yeah, okay, good.
See, that's,
And they only come in one size, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
They're constantly making improvements. I'm trying to think what I'm going to stop here. I'm done enough.
What was that focal length again, John?
I think he said the focal length was 250.
250?
Yeah, I don't have the
I'm
stats
noticing
here.
I'm noticing that's standard for this type of device. That must be the best general focal length for the
Yeah.
night sky for the amateur.
the reason I ask about the price, I mean, the new folks, I mean, people can easily spend that on a telescope and a camera.
Yeah. The price is pretty stable now at around $500.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just the going rate on cloudy nights because people will list their used equipment on that cloudynights.com. It's about $375 when they post used ones. So, if people like used ones, that might be even better.
Yeah.
I don't know why anybody would get rid of one.
Yeah.
It's just the thing is, you'll be sitting there and I'll be sitting there and I'll go outside and I'll sit down in the swing and I'll look up, man, it's clear tonight. And a lot of those pictures I took on my patio, and I live at Quincy Ridgeway. I mean, this is not this is in town.
Yeah.
I mean, these are not out.
We're talking Bortle 9 there, man.
We are.
Yeah.
We are. And it is just
John, I should add they do have broadband filters automatically that engage on those devices, I've heard, to help with the nebula.
they do. There is a filter on it, but I don't think I've engaged it.
Well, I think it does on its own.
Yeah.
It does. With Nebula, it will automatically engage. It's a dual band filter, not a broadband.
Okay.
So, yeah.
But anyway, I'll shut up, and if you got any questions, but it's a cool thing, and I love it because it's like an impulse. I'm going to take it camping with me, and I'll probably take my other stuff with me when I go camping. But when I go somewhere, travel, and I'm going in a vehicle, it goes in the car with me.
Good job.
Okay, Mylan, you got your own separate unit as well.
Right. I have the same kind of smart telescope that Ann has, which is the Dwarf 2, a different company, Dwarf Lab. And it's got the shortest focal length. Y'all were talking about focal lengths earlier. There is a range of specs for these things. I was preparing a chart. I haven't quite finished it. But focal lengths range from 100 millimeters, which is the Dwarf 2, to 400 millimeters, which is the Stellina. And I did take the Stellina out to Mississippi River State Park for an outreach event, and went ahead and pointed it at a planet, and for outreach it did okay. But that has the longest focal length of any of the smart telescopes currently on the market. The only thing I have ready to share is the header for the chart I'm making, but that might be helpful if I can figure out how to do this.
Green button at the bottom center.
Got that part. Now what? Hit share.
Yeah.
Share, and
Oh,
then
it's working, Mylan. You got it. There's the comparison.
There you go.
It's tiny.
and make it full screen.
Oh.
There you go.
Boom.
I didn't know there were that many.
Well, the Selena was one of the very first ones.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either. Wow.
And then everybody else made it better and cheaper, I think. I really like the app control that you have compared to Selena's app.
Yeah, so I have the EvaScope 2, and it looks like a very similar app to what I'm seeing here, and it's very similar to the Dwarf 2. We might check and see if there's an update for Selena software.
Yeah, I have, and I think it updates automatically, but it just doesn't have all the different options. One that impressed me the most was the zoom.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the zoom.
Well, I have it at my house. It is totally up to date.
Yeah, but yeah, the apps are on your iPhone, and
Mhm.
I guess it does have firmware.
Right.
Okay, there was an update to this Vaonis app just recently. Okay, I have something else coming up here. Uh-oh, what happened?
You got rid of that window.
Do you still see the chart?
We see the Zoom screen.
Yeah, undo the unshare if you can.
Okay.
Unshare, then share again.
Start all over or something.
Yeah, let's see. What do I need to do? Stop share. Okay.
There you go. Back to square one.
Okay. I'm on a very limited computer, but it's what I got. Okay, I'm not there finally.
Yep, back to Zoom.
Sharing. Oh, rats. I might have. Let me try this. Okay, so what I plan to do is finish the chart where I give all the specs, well, most of the critical specs. These probably the heaviest one is going to be the Origin, but it comes in 3 pieces, right? The OTA, which is a Raza 6-inch, the mount head, which is the same as Celestron's, whatever they call those.
Yeah, it's their next star.
Next star, yeah. And then the tripod, of course. Altogether, that weighs 41.6 pounds, but it breaks down pretty evenly. So that's going to be probably your highest it'll be your highest resolution and fastest telescope, 2.2. All the other ones are, well, no, the Unistellars are reflectors, and all the other ones are refractors.
Right.
Shortest focal length is Dwarf 2. The Dwarf 3 is coming out with a 150 millimeter. Y'all already said C-stars, that's 250. Vaonis, the Vespera was, and I don't think that's on sale anymore. It was 250, 200. And then the others are 250. So F5s, they're all 50 millimeters. So the C-Star, the Vespera Passengers, Vespera 2, Vespera Pro are all 50 millimeters. Just the Vaonis, the first Vespera was F4, and the other ones are F5. The Unistellar Odysseys, which the 4 Unistellars up there are the ones that are currently available. They had earlier models, the EV-Scope, 1 and Equinox 1. Now they have the Odyssey Pro, which is 85 millimeter aperture. The Equinox and EV-Scope 2 are 114 millimeter apertures. The Odysseys, you can see the difference between the non-Pro and the Pro. The same difference between the Equinox 2 and the EV-Scope 2 is that the higher priced ones have an electronic eyepiece. So you can look with your eye, and if you're at a star party where you can't have screens glowing, that might be an option. But let's see what else. The Dwarf Lab, the Dwarf 2 has the widest or largest field of view of any of the scopes because it has a short focal length, 8 megapixel sensor, whereas the C-Star, the Vespera are 2 megapixels. They use the 462 chip. The Dwarf 2 uses the 415, which has 1.45 micron pixels. Dwarf 3, they're moving to the 678 sensor with 2 micron pixels and a similar field of view. The Dwarf 2 is 3.2 by 1.8 degrees. So you can get the full rosette, you can get the full Orion, all the big stuff you can get. Even North America will fit tightly in that view. The Dwarf 3 will be slightly smaller, 2.93 by 1.65 degrees. C-Star is 0.73, that's the width, by 1.29, the height. It's the only one that's portrait orientation, the rest are landscape. Let's see, what else do we have? Mosaics. So the Dwarf 3 and maybe the Dwarf 2 will be capable of that. It's in the works for the C-Star. All the Vaonis scopes, I believe, have that feature automatically. The Vespera Pro will have a square chip. It's this, I forget the model number, but it's a 1.6 degree square field of view. Odysseys, all the Unistellars are pretty small, like sub-degree fields of view. And then prices, the chart I'm making is going by, ascending price. So Dwarf 2, Dwarf 3, and C-Star are all $499 list price. You can get them for cheaper if you're early. The Vespera was $14.99. The Vespera 2, $17.90. And then the Vespera Pro is $29.99. I don't have the prices right in front of me for the Odyssey, Equinox, or EV Scope. Stellina was $39.99, and Origin is the same when it comes out, $39.99. And weight-wise, Dwarf 2, both Dwarf telescopes and the C-Star, you could do carry-on, right, if you're on a plane. But the Dwarf, you could go hiking in the Rocky Mountains and put it in your backpack. It's so light and small. And what you might notice from the pictures, they have 2 cameras. The Dwarf Lab telescopes, the only ones with 2 cameras, one wide, one tele. The wide gives you about 50 degrees, kind of like your smartphone. The Dwarf 2 was not able to do nighttime like astro with the wide, but the Dwarf 3 will be able to do that. So you could do some Milky Way shots with that. And a little bit better pixel scale with the Dwarf 3 than the Dwarf 2. Again, sacrificing a little bit of field of view. C-Star has a little bit better yet pixel scale. Any questions?
Well, yeah.
I'll just comment. I took my Dwarf 2 in my camera bag as carry-on all the way to Australia. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's tiny. It's aptly named, if not politically correct, but but I don't know if you could call it a small person telescope either. Yeah, it's really small, and I guess I'll mention too. There's Ed Ting. Y'all probably have heard of him. He does a lot of reviews of equipment. He did a review of the C-Star, and basically his opinion is not ready for prime time. Like, wait, all these things will get better, maybe rivaling what you can do with the standard traditional outfit. But if you want to get busy with it now, you don't want to wait really. And I read all the comments that I put a lot of time into this. I read all the comments and I did screenshots, and I'm going to kind of make a chart again of like reasons why people went with the scope. But I can say a few of them for myself. my primary interest is outreach and being able to do daytime as well as nighttime photography. And it's got the artificial intelligence to follow objects. Supposedly it can follow a bird in flight, but maybe not if it's too close to you. So if you're out in a national park, you see a bald eagle or you see a wolf or a bear or whatever, you kind of touch the screen and tell it to follow that thing. And when it moves, you track it, right? Let's see. Oh yeah. So for outreach, it's easy to set up, really quick. Unlike, what I was doing previously with a German equatorial mount, and, by the time I'm set up, everyone's left. um, so, and I started from visual. I did not enter this hobby with an interest in doing astrophotography. So, as primarily outreach, I just want to be able to show what's out there and not necessarily get an APOD. I don't expect to get an APOD for anything I do. And I don't want to spend time at a computer. I just want to see what's out there, show it to people, and do a little education, right? But other people like, for example, Mark, he has that, what is it, 12-inch SCT, right?
Yep.
He's ready to let that thing go, right? Because it's quite a load, right? It takes 2 people to set it up. It's not light, it's heavy. And so he's looking at getting a C-Star, I believe, very light. And you can get going very quickly with it for outreach events. And another reason that I saw in the comments, people who have some sort of disability, they can't lift something heavy. They have to have something light and something simple, people who don't want to face that learning curve of setting up a traditional system. Just something quick and easy, light. I mentioned you could take the smaller ones on as your carry-on. And I think there was another reason I saw, but I'll try to, go through the comments that I screenshot and make a chart. And I'll finish out this chart as well with, right now I've got the name of the scope, aperture, focal length, field of view, whether it can do mosaic or not, what the pixel scale is, whether it's, that's another thing, polar alignability. People have to kind of do tricks. They have to kind of lie to their C-Star, but it's possible to do polar alignment with the C-Star. With the Dwarf Lab, they are already made ready to go. You don't have to level it, and you can polar align those scopes. They'll have an EQ mode in the future app that will allow up to 60 seconds for the Dwarf 3. Currently, you're limited to 15 seconds with either one. Well, Dwarf 3 isn't really out yet, but the Dwarf 2, you're limited to 15 seconds. But you can choose your gain, and you can choose your exposure time, and how many exposures that you shoot. So I'll typically set it 15 seconds, gain of 80, and let it go for 120 shots for outreach, which is half an hour. So I spend half an hour on one target, and I can switch targets to another half hour on another target, and people can see the image developing in front of their eyes. I think that's, let's see, I mentioned polar alignability, battery life, weight, and the list price. So that's what the chart will have once I finish filling in the boxes. So I think that's all I have.
So Mylon, what you like about the Dwarf Labs is the footprint, right?
Well, there's that, but I mean, as far as like, if I have a brother, I have family all over Colorado, and I have a brother who likes to climb mountains. I like to climb mountains. So even the C-Star is a little bit heavy to lug up a mountain. But the Dwarf, it's like half the weight. It's like, I forget exactly. Ann, do you happen to know off the top of your head?
Do I know how heavy it is?
Yeah, the Dwarf.
Oh, it's like less than 2 pounds. I mean, it's
Yeah.
nothing. I can carry it. I can raise it over my head and put it in the overhead.
Yeah, it's super portable. I mean, the lightest of them all with the widest field of view. And once the C-Star can do mosaics, it'll have, the capability. I don't know if they'll go like, what the maximum, maybe you can do only 4, like quads. I don't know, this hasn't been put out yet. Same with the Dwarf Lab mosaics. I think the Vaonis scopes, you do 4 panels, up to 4 panels. You can do 2 or 4. So I don't think you could do like Brent does with the sun, where you have like 20 something panels mosaic. But it's also, all of them live stack. So you're seeing it right in front of you in almost real time.
It's 2.6 pounds.
Okay. Yeah, and the Dwarf 3 will be just slightly heavier, slightly bigger. It'll have a 35 millimeter aperture instead of 24. What was nice about the 24 millimeter is it has a magnetic filter holder. So you could use regular 1 1/4 inch filters, screw them into this holder, any filter you want. You can put it on the front. The
Yeah,
Dwarf
it's like those little magnetic sunglasses. It just sticks right on the front. It's awesome.
Yeah, and you can have it with like 1,000,000 to 1 neutral density filters for the sun. C-Star also has a filter. The Vaonis, you have to pay extra for all the filters. And you could buy a dual band, you could buy a light pollution filter, but none of them are cheap. And with the so that's proprietary. With the Dwarf 2, you could get the 1 1/4. Now with the Dwarf 3, they're going to take a similar approach to the C-Star and put internal filters, except for the solar. Solar will still be magnetic, clips on, but they'll have a dual band, an IR cut kind of filter, and an IR pass kind of filter. So you'll have those built in, plus the solar that you clip on the outside, and that's
Any questions for the new folks? This is kind of what it's aimed at.
Get a C-Star. You won't be disappointed.
I'm gonna have to look at my email.
Well, I don't know. When Ann's talked about putting that in her carry-on, the C-Star probably wouldn't fit in that, right?
Yes,
I
it
think
will.
you'd have to carry it, separate. And I bet you could still carry it on, but I was able, I have a photography bag. So I had my camera, my DSLR, and my Dwarf 2 all in the same Lower Pro backpack and just brought them on board. In fact, next month I'm taking my Dwarf 2 to California. My mom is 92 years old and she doesn't get out much. And she lives in if you could have Bortle 10, it would be Bortle 10 where she lives. But I'm going to take it and set it up in her backyard, and I know I'll be able to show her something cool.
That is cool. I will add this. The Unistellar is launching a binocular, a digital binocular that's going to be quite spectacular.
Yeah.
You point at the sky, it tells you what you're looking at. You point it at a mountain range, it tells you the mountains you're pointing it out. It's a day and night type thing.
Nice.
So that'll be interesting. I signed myself up to buy the first one. They're selling 1,000 initially.
Nice. What's the price?
It was like 600. Not bad at all.
I'm gonna put this chart on Slack once I finish it, just to let you know.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really useful to see them all kind of lined up next to each other. Thank you.
Sure. Would you like me to stop sharing now, though?
Are you done?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, we aim this to a high degree at the newer folks. That I can't tell you how many questions I get from new folks. What should I buy? And I usually say ask it on the Slack channel, and frequently they don't. So this is an opportunity to quickly get into it. So fairly cheap. Okay. I think we've got the agenda covered today. I close with a couple things. I'm going to ask for July's meeting. We're obviously we're going to hopefully take Alberto's information and meet between now and then, likely, but maybe take a target that night as well. If you have things you want to discuss, drop it on the Slack channel. That way I can put it on the agenda. The one that was really good for me is I go back to Brian's video on the whole concept of sky noise and exposure length and things that I thought I used to know. I learned differently. That would be in my opinion, a good discussion. The last one I have is picnic is 2 weeks from Saturday. So those of you who haven't said yay or nay, please do so.
Nobody buy anything.
Yeah. Yeah, let's keep these guys clear.
Yeah. Here, well, I guess I got a big group here, and
Buy your stuff on the way.
the big expense for the whole thing is the 2 porta potties. They're 660. They're 600.
Terry was asking about that.
Who was?
Terry was asking about
Oh,
that. We're trying to find the one that we had somewhere stuck in the attic. Probably.
Well, if I rented a professional, normal thing, you find $660 for the one day. And so we both Steve and I have the tent type porta potties that people can use. And then you can break it down, bag the stuff. It's got a gel mixture.
Yeah.
And we even are thinking about getting a seat that's much larger that will fit in it and be probably more comfortable for the ladies or whoever uses it. Do you guys have any thoughts on that? $660 for one day for 2 porta potties is, and I can't order them ahead of time because of the chance of the weather will.
Right.
I had to cut it really close, and we were scratching our heads on Tuesday night. Do we do it or not? And all the weather forecasts were bad. Of course,
We were wrong. We were wrong.
No, we weren't wrong.
It would have been a great day, but whatever. Right?
We weren't wrong. The forecast was wrong.
That's right.
I've got a friend that can build a good Kentucky type outhouse if somebody will dig the hole.
Well, this is actually pretty clever. it's. We bought it off of Amazon. Each of it's. If people don't really want to use one, I don't know there's much difference between that and an outhouse. They can go to Whiteville in 10 minutes. They just get on the highway and.
Yeah, how far away is that? 10 or 15 minutes?
Yeah, 10 minutes. 10, maybe 12. It depends how fast you drive.
That's not a problem.
It just gives us so much more flexibility. We can make the call Friday night if we wanted to, if we had to. But this with the commercial porta potties, you got to do it some amount of time, lead time, 2 to 3 days, and that gets to once you commit, we just throw away. $660 to our little organization is a lot of money. That's 10% of our funds. So
I don't think 10 minutes is too far for people to go to drive.
If they don't like the setup, I think for the guys it's not going to be an issue. It's the ladies that may have an issue. So that's where I'm going to talk when Jeremy gets back in town. Steve and I are going to meet with him and make the proposal. And,
Yeah. If y'all can do that, and I can find the tent part of mine, I'll bring it too.
Well, ours are tent. These
Yeah, we're good to go. We got tents. It's got light. Got toilet paper holder.
Oh wow.
A hand cleaner.
It's glamping.
Okay.
and a light on the top for the nighttime if you need it. So it's good to go. And it's on the way, Merle. I got a big.
Okay.
I knew you'd do that. I got a big one coming that'll be very comfortable to sit on.
MAS has enough money to cover $50, so that's certainly better than 660. Okay, well, great. great.
Meryl, I had a question.
Sure.
If my son wanted to come to the picnic, would you let him fly some RC planes or a helicopter or something?
Yeah, the answer would be yes, but what's happened is that the farmer that uses my land is planted corn.
Oh, okay.
It
I'll
is
tell him
it's
probably
growing.
not likely.
It's just not going to be conducive. You know,
Well, yeah, if it crashes, what Meryl's saying, if it crashes, it might be hard to find, Ann.
we'll find it.
Okay.
And
Well, he has a helicopter that doesn't need a runway or anything.
oh
That would
well, he
work
can
pretty
bring it.
well.
See, I mean, just see, about 6 months ago, I had mine out there and I ended up at a 150-foot tree top. And it stayed there until I told Bubba about it. And he brings his 12 gauge double aught buck shotgun and shoots it down by cutting off limbs with the shotgun. Of course, it didn't survive. So, okay, yeah, but he feel free to bring the airplane won't work. I mean, you won't have any runway to pick with.
Okay, yeah, that's the thing. He would need a runway. He doesn't crash anymore. He's really, really good at it. And so he might want to bring something.
Yeah, he feel free to do so and make the judgment based on how close the people are. And but the corn is it's already up about, well, it's been a week and a half. It's probably 2 feet in it. Then it'll be even taller then. But he can do what he wants to do.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, anything else, guys? I'm going to stop the recording here. If I can get to it, stop recording. Are we done? It's been a great show tonight, and a lot of good information. Thanks for pulling out Alberto and John and Ted and Mylan. I appreciate your taking the time. So you all have a good night, and send me your emails on the picnic.